The galaxy was still healing from the long war. Entire star systems had gone dark. Trade routes were broken. Many planets were left with nothing but ruins and hungry survivors. But far away from the core worlds, on the quiet farming planet Alderaan 5, life tried to return to normal. The planet was peaceful on the surface. Golden fields swayed in the wind. Small human farms stretched across the valley. Smoke rose gently from chimneys. Birds circled silently. But in the shadows of these farmlands, something else moved. For weeks, farmers had reported strange shapes appearing late at night. Fast footsteps. Broken fences. Food missing from storage barns. When humans followed the sounds, they found nothing, only strange footprints that did not belong to any known animal. The local government said it was war scavengers. Alien refugees too scared to ask for help. But fear spreads fast. Some humans whispered, "They will attack us one day. Better to chase them away." Only one man didn't agree, Daniel Hale, a quiet farmer who lived alone on the edge of the valley. He was known for two things: working harder than anyone, and helping anyone who knocked on his door. He didn't believe in turning away the hungry, no matter their species. Yet even Daniel felt uneasy. Every morning he found new footprints near his cornfield. Some small. Some shaky. Not the footprints of soldiers. More like the steps of someone weak, or starving. On the 7th morning, something changed. Daniel stepped outside with a bucket of feed and froze. The sun was rising behind him, throwing long shadows over the field. And standing at the far end, trembling, was a figure he had never seen before. A thin alien woman. Her skin a soft silver blue, her eyes glowing faintly like fading stars. She looked exhausted. Dust covered her clothes. Her breathing was uneven, almost painful. And behind her legs, two small alien children clung to her, their faces thin and frightened. Daniel didn't move. He didn't speak. He only watched as the woman slowly raised her shaking hands to show she carried no weapon. Her voice cracked when she tried to speak. "Human," she whispered, barely louder than the wind. "I will work your fields, just feed my hungry children." Her knees almost buckled as she said it. The children pressed themselves deeper into her legs, terrified of Daniel, terrified of everything. In that moment, Daniel understood the truth. These were not thieves. These were not attackers. These were refugees, starving, desperate, and alone. The woman tried to continue speaking, but her breath broke again. "Please, they have not eaten in days. I don't want to steal. I only want them to live." Daniel stepped forward gently, hands open so she could see he meant no harm. The children flinched. The woman's eyes widened with fear, as if she expected him to shout, or hit her, or chase them away like others had. But Daniel only said softly, "You don't need to work for food." The woman stared at him in disbelief. No one had spoken kindly to her in months. Her species, the Valorians, had once been respected healers and scientists. But the war had destroyed their home, turning survivors into fugitives, hunted by those who saw them as weak. Daniel saw the bruises on her wrists, marks of chains. Marks of someone who had escaped something terrible. He realized one more thing. They hadn't come to his farm because they wanted food. They had come because they were being hunted. And whoever was hunting them would probably return. A cold wind moved across the field. Daniel looked at the woman, then at the frightened children, then at the dark forest behind them. Something, or someone, was out there. Watching. Searching. The hook ends with the narrator's voice. And this was the moment Daniel Hale's quiet life ended. And a fight for humanity, and for a starving alien family, began. Daniel Hale had seen hard years before, storms, droughts, even a wildfire that almost took his barn. But nothing in his life prepared him for the sight of a starving alien mother standing in his fields. And nothing prepared him for the fear he felt when he looked into the dark forest behind her. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The alien woman, Soraya, lowered her trembling hands slowly. Her eyes were filled with exhaustion, But beneath that exhaustion lived something sharper: fear. Fear not of Daniel, but of whatever she had run from. Daniel spoke gently. "Come with me. You and the children need food." But Soraya shook her head. "No, no, we cannot enter your home. They will see. They will come." Daniel frowned. "Who will come?" Her voice dropped to a whisper that chilled the air. "The Draxium Enforcers." Daniel had never heard the name, but the way she said it made his stomach tighten. The children's eyes widened, and one of them, barely taller than Daniel's waist, began to cry silently. "They hunt us," Soraya continued. "Everywhere we run. Every time we hide. They always find us." Daniel glanced at the bruises on her wrists again. Those were not marks from work. They were marks from chains. He didn't ask more. Not yet. He simply stepped aside and motioned toward the large red barn behind him. "You can rest inside. The barn is warm. No one will see you." Soraya hesitated for a long moment, her eyes scanning the sky as if imagining ships dropping from orbit. But her children tugged at her clothes, their legs shaking, their ribs visible even through their thin shirts. She finally nodded. Daniel led them into the barn. The smell of hay and warm wood filled the air. Light came through the cracks in the walls in thin golden lines. Daniel grabbed water, fruit, and bread from storage. Soraya tried to push the food toward her children first, but they pushed it back. "No, Mama, you eat," the oldest whispered. But Soraya shook her head fiercely. "A mother eats last. Always." Daniel couldn't help staring. In her eyes he saw strength, not physical strength, but the kind humans rarely recognized in themselves. The kind that kept families alive through war and darkness. When the children began eating, tears streamed down their faces. They didn't even chew at first, they swallowed as if terrified the food might vanish. Daniel sat down opposite Soraya, keeping his voice calm. "You said the Draxium Enforcers hunt your people. Why?" Soraya wrapped her arms around herself as if the memory burned her skin. "We, the Valorians, we were healers. Builders. We had no armies. When the war came, we could not defend ourselves. After our world fell, the Draxium saw us as resources." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Slaves." Soraya nodded slowly. "Yes. They sell us. Use us. Break us. I escaped with my children, but they will not stop. They will search every forest, every valley." Her voice trembled. "And when they find us, they will punish anyone who helped." Daniel didn't respond. Not yet. His heart was already making decisions his mind had not accepted. Before he could speak again, the barn lights flickered. Soraya froze. A high, distant humming sound drifted through the valley. Something not human, not natural. Something mechanical. Something searching. Her eyes widened in terror. "They are scanning. They are close." Daniel grabbed his old comm tablet and checked the sky feed. A red triangular mark blinked above the valley, an unidentified ship. He whispered, "Are they here for you?" Soraya's face went pale. "Yes. Wherever we hide, they release tracer drones. They will search for our energy signature." Daniel stepped toward the barn door, heart pounding. "How much time do we have?" Soraya whispered one word. "Minutes." The children stopped eating. Their small bodies pressed together as if bracing for death. Daniel breathed deeply. He had two choices. The easy one, hand them over. The human one, protect them. His mind flashed back to something his father once told him. "Anyone can claim to be good. But what you do for the helpless, that is who you really are." Daniel turned to Soraya. "I'm hiding you underground. Follow me." Soraya stared at him in disbelief. You would risk your life? For us?" Daniel didn't turn around as he led them toward the hidden cellar beneath the barn floor. He only said, "No one should have to beg for their children to eat." He lifted the wooden hatch. A cool, dark space lay below, once a storm shelter, now their only hope. As Soraya and the children climbed down, the humming sound grew louder, closer, more aggressive. Daniel closed the hatch. Then he stepped outside, right into the open field. Above him, a silver-black ship broke through the clouds like a blade sliding through fabric. Red lights scanned the ground. The Draxium enforcers had arrived. The peaceful farm was no longer peaceful. The hunt had begun. The Draxium ship hovered above Daniel Hale farmland like a silent, hungry beast. The air shook with the deep humming sound of its engines. Dry hay lifted from the ground. Birds escaped into the sky in fear. Daniel stood alone in the middle of his field. His boots pressed deep into the soil he had worked for so many years. He had fought storms and droughts in his life. But he had never faced a warship before. A strong mechanical voice came from the ship. Human citizen. We are tracking escaped biological property. Surrender them now. Daniel did not move. He did not speak. He only stared at the giant shadow above him. Under the barn. Hidden inside the old storm cellar. Soraya and her children sat close together. The air was cold and dark. Soraya wrapped her arms around them, trying to keep them calm, trying to hide her own fear. Her youngest child whispered softly, "Why is the human not running? Why is he not hiding?" Soraya answered with a shaking voice, "Because he is different. He has a kind heart." But fear still lived inside her. She knew what the Draxium enforcers did to anyone who tried to help her people. Above them, the ship's scanners swept across the land. Blue lines moved over the soil, over the barn, over the trees, searching for Valorian life signs. The ship AI announced, "Heat disturbance detected." Soraya's heart stopped. They were close. Very close. Daniel looked up. He had no weapon strong enough to fight a ship. No armor. No backup. But he would not let slavers take a starving mother and her children. The voice spoke again. "Human. Do not resist. The Valorians belong to us." Daniel raised his voice. "There are no captives on my land." Inside the shelter, Soraya felt tears gather in her eyes. He was risking everything for strangers. 3 drones dropped from the ship, landing with sharp metallic clicks. Their silver legs opened, their red scanner eyes glowing like fire. One drone walked straight to Daniel, stopping near his boots. A thin scanning rod extended toward him. Daniel did not flinch. Another drone moved toward the barn. Daniel felt fear rise. But he acted before fear could stop him. The drone placed a hot limb on the barn door, starting to cut through the wood. Daniel grabbed the nearest tool, a heavy metal hoe, and swung it with full force. A loud cracking sound echoed through the field. The drone crashed sideways, sparks shooting out. For a moment everything went silent. Then the ship alarm roared. Hostile action detected. Human attacker identified. Inside the cellar, Soraya covered her mouth to silence her gasp. Her heart broke. He attacked a drone to protect them. Now the Draxium would not show mercy. Soraya whispered, "This is my fault. If he dies, it is because of us." Her older child held her hand tightly. "Mama, humans protect the weak. Maybe he is one of them." Above ground, Daniel stood breathing hard, the metal hose shaking in his hands. But he did not step back. The remaining drones moved toward him, each step sharp and cold, blue energy forming between their limbs. The ship gave one final warning. "Human, move away from the barn, or face lethal action." Daniel raised his voice. "You do not own my land. And you do not own those people." Inside the cellar, Soraya pressed her forehead against the wooden door, tears falling. He called them people. Not property. Not slaves. People. The drones lifted their weapons. Daniel gripped the hoe, ready to fight, ready to stand his ground, even if it cost him his life. The Draxium ship lowered slowly, shadows spreading across the farmland, and the world held its breath. as one human farmer prepared to face a force feared across the galaxy. The first shot did not come. That was the strange part. The Draxium drones stood ready, blue energy glowing in their weapons. The massive ship lowered slowly. Its shadow covered the farmland. Daniel Hale stood in front of the barn. Alone. No armor. No weapons strong enough. But he did not move. The Draxium commander spoke again. Human. Step aside. You will survive. Refuse and you will die. Daniel wiped sweat from his face. His hands shook. But his feet stayed firm in the soil. The land his family had worked for generations. He spoke calmly. If you want them, you go through me. Inside the cellar, Soraya felt her heart tighten. No one had ever stood between her children and danger. Not soldiers. Not governments. Only this human farmer. Her older child whispered. He is protecting us like family. Above ground. The Draxium made their choice. A drone fired. Blue energy tore through the air. Daniel moved on instinct. He threw himself to the side. The blast struck the tractor. Metal melted. The ground shook. Inside the cellar, Soraya screamed. The children cried. Daniel rolled through the dirt. He grabbed a smoke canister from his supplies. He slammed it against the ground. White smoke spread across the field. The drones hesitated. Their scanners failed. Another blast tore through the smoke, missing Daniel by inches. Dirt exploded around him. Daniel ran. Not away from the barn. Toward the drones. He used fences. Tools. Uneven ground. Everything he knew as a farmer. Inside the cellar, fear still lived in Soraya's heart. But now something else grew. Hope. Engines roared from the road. Lights cut through the smoke. Trucks and farming vehicles rushed forward. Human voices shouted. Daniel, get down. What is that ship? They came for the aliens. More humans arrived. Farmers. Workers. Old veterans. Young hands. They formed a line beside Daniel, holding tools and rifles. Standing their ground. One old man spat into the dirt. Slavers. You picked the wrong land. The Draxium scanners flashed. Multiple human targets detected. Confusion spread through their ranks. Inside the cellar, Soraya knew what would happen next. The ship would fire. Humans would die. Because of her. She kissed her children softly. Stay here. Mama will come back. Before they could stop her, she opened the hatch. Light poured into the cellar. Daniel saw her step into the field. Soraya, no, he shouted. But she stood tall. Her skin glowing softly. Ancient Valorian energy waking inside her. The drone's alarm screamed. Valorian bios surge detected. The Draxium commander shouted. Stop her. Soraya raised her hands. A glowing shield expanded, covering the humans. Blast struck it and shattered. The humans stared in disbelief. Soraya turned to Daniel. You showed my children what humanity is. Now let me show the galaxy what a Valorian mother will do. The Draxium ship pulled back. Retreat signals flashed. This was no longer a hunt. The ship vanished into the clouds. Silence fell over the field. Soraya collapsed. Daniel caught her before she fell. The humans stood still, looking at the alien mother who saved them. Far beyond the planet, the galaxy began to watch. Silence covered the farmland. The Draxium ship was gone. The sky was calm again. Only smoke and broken soil remained. Daniel knelt on the ground, holding Soraya in his arms. The glow on her skin slowly faded. Her body felt weak. But she was alive. The humans stood around them. No one spoke. No one moved. Soraya opened her eyes slowly. She looked at Daniel. Then around the field. My children, she whispered. Daniel nodded. They are safe. Tears rolled down Soraya's face. Tears of relief. Tears she had held inside for a long time. The children ran from the cellar. They rushed to her, holding her tightly. Mama! You came back. Soraya held them close. Her strength almost gone, but her heart full. The humans watched quietly. Many felt something heavy inside. Something warm. Something human. An old farmer stepped forward. We do not turn away mothers on this land. Others nodded in agreement. News spread quickly. By morning, ships arrived from nearby human worlds. Doctors, security teams, community leaders. But no one came to take Soraya away. They came to protect. Daniel spoke to the leaders. His voice calm. His words simple. They are people, not property. The leaders listened. And they agreed. A message was sent across human space. No Valorian refugees will be surrendered. Any slaver's ship entering human territory will be stopped. The galaxy heard the message. Some species were shocked. Some were afraid. Some were angry. But many watched in silence, rethinking everything they believed about humans. Soraya healed slowly. Her power had nearly taken her life. But she survived. She stayed on the farm. Not as a worker. Not as a servant. As family. The children laughed again. They ran through the fields. They learned human words. Human songs. One night, Soraya stood beside Daniel, looking at the stars. Your species is strange, she said softly. Daniel smiled. We hear that often. She continued. You fight wars with fire. But you protect the weak with your heart. She looked at her children. Then back at Daniel. My people believed survival meant strength. You taught us something greater. Survival means compassion. Far away, in alien councils, leaders watched the recordings. A lone human farmer, standing against a warship, to protect children not his own. Something changed. For the first time, the galaxy understood. Humans do not protect only themselves. They protect life. They protect families. They protect hope. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. If this story moved you, subscribe for more human stories from the stars.